started to rumble in the sky. And it sounded like there would be thunderstorm. So there was a, thunder and lightning, loud sound. When there's thunder, there's a loud sound. And Srila Prabhupada was completely unfazed. He continued walking. The devotees were a little taken aback by the lightning and thunder. And Srila Prabhupada's immediate reaction was, oh, Krishna is playing his drums. Yeah? So everything connected to Krishna. Everything, and we can cultivate this. Initially it will be artificial, very artificial. But slowly, as we become more conscious, as we become, what does it mean to become Krishna conscious? Essentially.
Be aware of Krishna.
Exactly. In every situation, in every circumstance, in every relationship. So that is truthfulness. So we then see another episode in which, in one of the lectures, this is Kalachandji. This was Kalachandji Mandir.
Yes,
I don't know. Okay. I'll not touch it now. So, this is in Los Angeles. Yeah. And Srila Prabhupada, in one of the class, there were lots of devotees who were very confused about what is God. Early days, 1968. And Srila Prabhupada was very clear. He said, oh, there's another one. Srila Prabhupada said, if everyone is God, if that's what you believe, that everyone is God, then there are so many gods lying in the street. God does not mean such a thing. And Revatinandan Prabhu, who was in the audience, just by hearing, because he was also thinking, I am also God. Immediately when Prabhupada said, there are so many gods lying on the street, how can that be? It's not true. Everyone cannot be God. Just those very words which were apparently very straightforward had such a deep impact that Revatinandan Prabhu, like a thunderbolt, he had a realization. Yes, it's true. We can all not be God. There are still in India, there are still lots of people who will tell you the goal of life is to realize that Atma and Paramatma is one. It all sounds very fluffy and nice. Huh? Sounds very spiritual and like you're on some drugs almost. But then what happens if you're on drugs? When you're really awake, you come crashing down. So it's bogus. The philosophy has no legs to stand on. Because it's completely opposite to our experience, Prabhupada explained. It's not within our experience that we are God. In fact, if anything, we feel we are so much out of control. We are not in control of anything. And so, that particular episode changed the heart of Revatinandan Prabhu. And when we speak the truth to someone, we should speak with the motivation to clarify the truths, concepts, and also to correct any confusions. Sometimes people feel either shy or unsure whether they should speak the truth. Prabhupada was uncompromising. He was sensitive, like in the case of Gandhi Seva Ashram. He did not speak anything about Gandhi or against Gandhi. So he was sensitive, but he did not compromise on the truth. There's a difference between being sensitive and compromising. Are you following?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you don't seem to be following.
You were going to answer the question because
Please go on.
Difference between sensitive and
Compromising.
compromisation.
So to compromise means that the fundamental principles that we believe in, or the siddhanta that we believe in, we kind of say, well, actually, let us reword it or reshape it to appeal to the audience. So we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but the audience also wants us to chant Om Namah Shivaya, so we'll chant Om Namah Shivaya also. Then the audience wants us to chant Om Gam Ganpate Namaha, some kind of Ganpati Sutra, we'll chant that also. Everything will do. Why? Because the audience wants it. Compromise, that is compromise. What is sensitive? Sensitive means not to unnecessarily pick a fight, make enemy, or, create trouble. For example, if somebody says, you are out in books, and they say, sorry, I'm a Christian, I don't want your books. All right, thank you. That's all right. I wish you have a good day. They'll say, I wish you have a good day too. That's it. That is their connection to Krishna. How? Because they interacted with a devotee, they wished him well, that is the beginning of their connection with Krishna. So one does not need, so what will be insensitive? Oh, I know you are Christian, but you must at least read this book. Pushy, making them really antagonistic against you. That's being insensitive. So respect, be sensitive. Prabhupada was like that. Another time, Srila Prabhupada was with, this is Dr. Patel. This is Prabhupada in Bombay, in Juhu. Prabhupada used to go for the morning walk at 7:30 every morning. And Dr. Patel would come and speak to Prabhupada. And Dr. Patel would almost take like a position of a questioner. He would question Prabhupada, but also sometimes end up arguing with Prabhupada. And there are many such instances. Sometimes he would argue on philosophical matters, sometimes he would just grossly disagree. Sometimes he would even say things like, oh, you think like this because you're a Bengali. He's telling Prabhupada. On all levels he would talk. He was the same age as Prabhupada. And all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they were quite, young, and they were wondering, why is Prabhupada tolerating this man? Sometimes if he wouldn't come, then he would ask his disciples, where is Dr. Patel? Why is he not come on the morning walk? He used to stay close to the Juhu temple. So, in one such morning walk, Prabhupada started criticizing, because I'm being recorded, I'm not going to say the name of the society, a particular religious group. Prabhupada started to really criticize them, saying, all that they do is make money of poor people, people who are gullible. They fool them, they make money, and they use that for their own purposes. This isn't spirituality. And it's actually true. So Prabhupada he wanted to make sure that you give unselfishly real spirituality. And since Prabhupada's time, up until now, there are hundreds and thousands and probably millions of people who've come across ISKCON, who have transformed their lives through ISKCON. We have never charged anyone for accepting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In no temple in the world do you have to pay a fee to get initiated. But there are some societies where you can buy a mantra. Depending on how much you pay, you get a better mantra. Yeah? Even today, there are such societies. Then there are such societies in which you have to register and pay an annual fee just to be a member. How many of you pay an annual fee to be a member of ISKCON? No one. So Prabhupada's movement was very pure and he wanted to keep it that way. So he was criticizing really hard, strong, saying these are rascals. And then he started criticizing not the society, but the main guru of the society. So the disciples were very happy. They were enjoying Prabhupada being very direct. Somehow, our Dr. Patel, he had some past connection with this society. So he was saying, Swamiji, why are you being so critical? You shouldn't be so critical. Let them do what they do, you do what you want to do. Classic Indian way of thinking. They say, well, you do your thing, let them do their bit.
Live and let live.
Yeah, live and let live kind of a thing. When they said to Prabhupada, don't criticize. I'm sorry, when Dr. Patel was telling Prabhupada, don't criticize this society. What was Prabhupada's reply? Prabhupada was very angry. Prabhupada was very angry and Prabhupada immediately said, imagine I am a surgeon and I am operating on the heart of my patient, and if some rascal comes in and starts, cutting my patient here and there, what do you think I will do? I will just say, stop, you rascal, get out. So Prabhupada said, this is what I am doing. I am trying to transform the heart of the living entities by giving them genuine Krishna consciousness. And somebody is trying to create mischief. How can I tolerate? So Dr. Patel was saying, please don't speak bad. He said, I will speak bad. Because I am not speaking bad, I am speaking the truth. So Prabhupada was uncompromising. He had the courage to call out the falsehoods of harmful practices. Because this particular society, they also abuse women. So Prabhupada just didn't tolerate that. So they recruit women and then they use them for some malicious things. So Prabhupada was, somehow he was part of that society before. Prabhupada, in his face, he was saying, this is nonsense. Yeah, so what did Prabhupada say? If someone comes into the operating room and starts cutting my patient, am I going to just stand there? No. I will say, get out, you rascal. The Prabhupada's words. So, he did not, being tolerant does not mean being foolish, allowing someone to walk all over us. So what is practice of truthfulness? Speak the truth and safeguard your spiritual integrity. It's important to have integrity, spiritual integrity. Prabhupada had that spiritual integrity. Yeah. How is it in French?
Dis la vérité, sauvegarde l'intégrité spirituelle.
Integrity spiritual, yes. Another time, and this is a very difficult one for us to understand. Oh, so we want to put some points. Did you put any points on truthfulness?
You've got 2 points, integrity and spiritual relationship already. I think that was from yesterday.
So this is the first one, integrity. Second one was spiritual relationships. Third one was to refute confusions. To speak truthfully means to refute any confusions. Sometimes you are asked challenging questions. This morning in the class, there were some interesting questions. But you don't need to compromise. So we speak convincingly, clarifying any confusions. And the next one, truthfulness means to guard one's spiritual integrity. Spiritual integrity. And the last one is a little tough. It's really difficult. I'll tell you this particular pastime. There was one disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Her daughter, her name was Manisha, the daughter's name. She was an American disciple. Her daughter was Manisha. And she was going through some life-threatening circumstance. So she was almost going to die. Manisha was going to die. The girl. She was almost 13 years old girl, a very young girl. The daughter of Prabhupada's disciple. So this lady, the mother, she went to Srila Prabhupada and she was crying. And she told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, please tell me, what should I do in this situation? And Srila Prabhupada very gently, he said, please just keep her comfortable. Because she's going to die anyway. Just keep her, make sure she's comfortable. And then the mother realized that now this girl Manisha has only got 24 hours left to live. So again she rushed to Prabhupada. She was really distraught, as you can imagine. And she asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what do I do now? She's going to die. As if Prabhupada could do something to save her. But instead, what did Prabhupada say? Prabhupada said very sternly, he said, we are all dying. For you, tomorrow. For me, next week. We should chant Hare Krishna. See, speaking the truth in a difficult circumstance. And we might think this is very insensitive. We might think this is very harsh. We might think, oh, well, but the reality is, Prabhupada did not want to give any artificial comfort. He wanted his disciples, he wanted everyone to realize the truth, which is that death is one of the truths. As true as life, so is death. And Prabhupada told Manisha's mother, we are all dying, because she was crying. Manisha is going to die. And then he said, for you tomorrow, for me next week. We are all going to die. So you better realize it now. And actually Manisha's mother, just because it came from Prabhupada and it really hit her. And she could tolerate the death of her daughter without feeling overly anxious or emotional. So I think even when we are dealing with situations where either some tough questions are asked of us or we have to be in a tough situation, we shouldn't give up on the eternal truth. And Prabhupada would say so many times, birth, death, old age and disease. These come as a part and parcel for everyone. In fact, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma mrityu jara vyati iti dosha anudarshanam. Dosha anudarshanam. Please constantly think of these four things. How many of us are constantly thinking of birth, death, old age and disease? No one. Because we all think we are eternal. Yeah. Tomorrow, yet another day. More fun. There will be more time to lose and waste. The reality is, we never know what tomorrow brings. So one has to be Krishna conscious here and now. Once Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is the best time to be Krishna conscious? The devotee asked in the context of a small child trying to be Krishna conscious. So the question was, what is the best time for somebody to become Krishna conscious? And Srila Prabhupada said, to be Krishna conscious, the best time and place is here and now. There is isn't an option to, oh, well, I'll think about it in the future. And these four miseries of life, birth, death, old age, and disease, don't escape anyone. How many of us here in this room know our date of birth? Do we all know our date of birth? Oh, very few people raising their hands. Yes, no, don't laugh, because it's possible. It's possible if someone's born in a village somewhere, and they may not. Yeah.
That's me. My date of birth is confused between 24th and 25th November.
Yeah.
It's like the passport is telling me it's 23rd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know a lady in London,
Yeah.
and she's only 37 or 47 because she has two dates of birth 10 years apart. So she's either 37 or 47, she doesn't know. To me, she looks about 42. So I said, well, there might be a third one.
My records are different. No, the system is so confused.
Yeah. But we surely have taken birth, we all agree, right? The very fact we're here. And there was a particular day in time when we took birth. And we've taken so many photographs of ourselves, right? At least somebody might have taken some photos of ourselves somewhere. When we die, the day we die, at least someone somewhere, hopefully, might shed a tear for us and say, oh, he was a good man, she was a good lady. And they'll put a nice photograph of us. Yeah? Do you know that photograph has already been taken? Yeah? Very likely. Very likely. That photo has already been taken. So we don't know what's going to be in our obituary. The photo is there. So it's that certain, as Shakespeare said, as sure as death. And Srila Prabhupada made no drama about it. He said it openly. You are going to die. One person approached Srila Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, Indian guy. All Indians are typical people. So he said, Swamiji, I heard a lot of things about you. I think you are a powerful person. So I need you to tell me my future. So Prabhupada said, yes, I can tell you your future. This man was, how do you do it, Swamiji? Should I show you my hand? Should I show you my chart? Do you want to read my face? And Srila Prabhupada said, that is not necessary. And the person was really excited. He said, oh, you can tell my future without anything? So he said, Srila Prabhupada said, yes. 4 things I see in your life. Birth, death, old age and disease. Guaranteed. Then Prabhupada added, guaranteed. Which is the truth. All future, there are some astrologers and all that. And they are good. There is some good thing that they can guide us a little bit. But one thing that we definitely will face is these 4. You see, if we are going to die, we will. So some of you might say, well, actually, I agree with birth, I agree with death, but I don't agree with old age and disease. Because old age, well, there are children who are 6, 7 years old, 5 years old, 1 week old, 1 day old who can die. They've never seen old age, right? So I don't believe that there is old age necessarily. So Srila Prabhupada actually defined old age in a very beautiful way. Do you know that? He said, if you're going to die tomorrow, you're old today. You may be only 40 years old. But if you're going to die tomorrow, you're old today. That's the way he defined old age. And disease, Prabhupada said, disease is simply a circumstance that is created to instigate death. I will explain it simply, in a simple way. Every one of us will die of some cause. You might be in your shower singing the latest tune of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra because you're too shy to sing in the public. And you are singing, and you slip. And you hit your head to the wall, it bleeds and you're dead. Yeah. So, some cause is there. Seemingly you are healthy and fine, healthy, wealthy and fine, but you hit yourself, you die. Something has to happen for you to die. You get COVID and you die. Actually, I was speaking to Bhakti Charu Maharaj. When I had COVID, he called me on my mobile. I was in the bed. He called me from Bhakti Prem Maharaj's mobile. So I thought it was Bhakti Prem Maharaj. So I was still lying down. I couldn't speak. I was choked. I took the WhatsApp call. I said, Hare Krishna Maharaj, but it didn't look like Bhakti Prem Maharaj. So I said, something is wrong in my head. And then I realized it's Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So I tried to sit up. He said, no, don't worry. He spoke to me for 42 minutes. It's recorded actually. And at one point he said, never mind if you die. On that call to me. Never mind if you die. We will all die anyway. What is the big deal? So we might think, what? How can somebody say that? But it is true. This is truth. This is being truthful. Prabhupada being truthful. And then Bhakti Charu Maharaj also told me, to expand on that, he said, well, you might die of COVID. He was telling me, you might die of COVID. Somebody else might die of heart attack. Somebody else might die of cancer. Somebody else might die of accident. These are simply some cause for writing on the death certificate. In reality, disease or illness is a precursor to death. You need some reason to die. You can't be walking nicely in the park and suddenly drop dead. That will be really unexpected. But even in those cases, heart failure, something. So, we think these four can never leave us. So once in New Vrindavan, there was, in Bengal, there is a magician. His name is P.C. Sarkar. So, in Bengal is called him P.C. Sarkar. Yeah. So, any Bengalis here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, you are Bengali?
Yeah.
Both of you?
Yeah.
Okay. So P.C. Sarkar. So P.C. Sarkar was in New Vrindavan. He was doing some magic shows in America. So he was in New Vrindavan and all the devotees, and Prabhupada was also in New Vrindavan that time. And all the devotees with Prabhupada, they had gathered around and P.C. Sarkar said, I'll do some magic show for entertainment of your devotees and you, Swamiji. So Srila Prabhupada said, yes. Prabhupada was, Prabhupada liked some kind of, he is a man of adventure, Prabhupada. He is an adventurous man. Once Giraj Maharaj asked Prabhupada, why did you come to America? Prabhupada simply said, for an adventure. Another time he said that Prabhupada, somebody else asked, Prabhupada, were you not worried? You coming to America, you don't even know anyone here, you have no money, you have nowhere to go, you don't even understand the language, they don't understand your language. Well, you do speak English, but it's difficult. Prabhupada said, no, I was sure I would do something because I am a Calcutta boy. He's street smart, kind of. Prabhupada was very, I will come back to P.C. Sarkar, but I attended in 1996, September 1st, there was September 6th, there was Prabhupada's centennial. Centennial means Prabhupada's 100 years anniversary program in Juhu. And lots of dignitaries and senior disciples of Prabhupada spoke. And one such person was a person who had helped Prabhupada acquire this land of Juhu. He came there and he was speaking to about Prabhupada, and the first sentence, I remember very clearly, the first sentence he said was, Swamiji was a man who nobody could cheat. Srila Prabhupada wasn't to be fooled by anyone. He couldn't be fooled by anyone. Anyway, coming back to our magician. Do you want to know about it?
Yes.
If yes, say Haribol loudly.
Haribol.
Loudly.
Haribol.
Thanks for waking up some of our friends here. So, Rishi Sarkar, he took a handkerchief, and imagine Prabhupada is sitting, all the other audience is there, all the devotees are there. He took the handkerchief, put it on his hand like this, and he removed the handkerchief, and there was a flower. So everyone started clapping. And then he asks one devotee, "Can you give me your bead bag?" He took the bead bag, he put the cloth, and he removed the cloth, and the bead bag was gone, and instead of the bead bag there was a dove, a pigeon. And then he kept doing that. Then he took a stick and he showed the stick and he said, "Look at this stick carefully." And then he threw the stick in the air and it vanished in front of everyone's eyes. So Prabhupada was also, laughing and happy. And then he was asking devotees to give him something, and he said, "You can give me anything you want and I'll make it vanish." So he asked one devotee, the devotee said, "Okay, I'll give you a glass of water," and he made the glass of water vanish. Another devotee gave him some Mahaprasad, and just out of joke, he ate the Mahaprasad. He said it's vanished, like that. But he was making everything vanish. At that time, as everyone was asking him to vanish something, Srila Prabhupada raised his hand. What do you think Prabhupada gave him to make it disappear? Think.
Not a god, it's big bang.
A picture of Krishna, maybe?
Everyone was saying, "Take this, can you make it disappear?" And he was making it disappear. Srila Prabhupada raised his hand.
Me? Is it me?
He came,
Maybe himself?
himself disappear? If anything, Prabhupada didn't want to disappear.
Sun, maybe.
Huh?
Sun.
Sun?
Yeah.
No. You can't give the sun to him, right?
Watch.
Huh?
A watch.
A watch? Okay, good thinking. But this is what Prabhupada told him. Who is Prabhupada? He connects everything to and to eternal truth of life. Right? So Prabhupada told P.C. Sarkar, "Yes, Swamiji, can you make birth, death, old age and disease disappear?" Prabhupada told him. What did he say? Can you make birth, death, old age and disease disappear? P.C. Sarkar was stunned. He stopped for a moment. He paid his obeisances to Prabhupada and he said, "Swamiji, that only you can do." Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, he said, "Swamiji, that only you can do." By making us Krishna conscious, we can forever forget birth, death, old age and disease. Yeah. So it's very important to always see everything in relation to the absolute truth and Krishna. Yeah. And in Prabhupada's life we see this. Isn't this beautiful, these pastimes?
Yes.
They're so wonderful. So, his unflinching honesty about the nature of life and death. Unflinching. And he wasn't soft or gentle. He said, in a very strong tone, he said to the mother, "We are all dying. Tomorrow you, next week me. We are all dying." This is the truth that should really, really change the way we live our life. Think, if you are to die tomorrow morning, not wake up, what is it that you would want to do all day today? I'm sure it's not going to be gossip. I'm sure it's not going to be, I wish I have this. You'll just, want to hopefully just focus completely on Krishna consciousness. But here's the little secret. That's what we should be doing anyway. And that was Prabhupada's mission and message. So, how do you practice truthfulness? To embrace honesty and emphasize the essentials. And the most essential of all essentials is chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When I was 19 years old, I decided that, I want to really try and see the world how Prabhupada would have seen it. And I can't say I have succeeded after all these years also. But what I can say is, having drowned myself in Prabhupada's Leelamrita, in Prabhupada's books, the name of these seminars is Reconnecting with Srila Prabhupada. What were the two instructions to Srila Prabhupada? On day one we saw.
Spread the Krishna consciousness in English speaking world.
And
then print books.
Print books. And Srila Prabhupada, when he was leaving the West in his last visit, not last visit, but when he left America for Vrindavan, for India, and the devotees thought he'll not come back. So the devotees told Prabhupada, we are already feeling so much separation from you. Prabhupada's response to them was, I shall never leave you. I will always live in my books. So really, there is no need for a 2.5-day seminar. Just this one pastime is enough. All this extended endeavor of demonstrating Prabhupada's qualities, 26 qualities of a devotee, and showing how Prabhupada exemplified those qualities, is to help us develop those qualities and in that way connect to Prabhupada. But the reality is, Prabhupada gave it directly. If you want to keep up your connection with him, then we should read Prabhupada's books. How many of you read Prabhupada's books? Now, let me just tell you this, and I might sound a little bit boastful. Please forgive me if I sound like that, but that's not my intention. I'm going to ask you, how many of you read Srila Prabhupada's books? And I want to ask you which book you read, and probably ask you for the chapter that you're reading, and it's very likely I'll be able to tell you what you're reading in that chapter. Any of Srila Prabhupada's books. Because I've just read them so many times. It's not like something special in me, but I keep reading them again and again. So, how many of you have been reading Prabhupada's books every day without fail? Mayank?
I wouldn't say not every day, but maybe most of the days.
Why not every day? Isn't it a nice question? I'm not questioning. If I'm asking Mayank, it's not for Mayank, right?
Yeah.
It's for every one of us. If we say no, then why not? And if there's something that might be stopping us, how can we help ourselves to bridge that gap so that we can read every day? Ashwin, you reading Prabhupada's books every day? No. Roshan?
Not every other day.
Every other day.
It's not like a routine.
What was the last thing you read? Which book?
Science of Realization.
Science of
Science of Self-Realization.
Self-Realization. Which chapter?
I'm on page 97.
So then I have to ask him which edition. Yeah. And then he won't be able to answer that. The point is, what chapter? What are you reading about? What is the content that you're reading about?
I shared it with you the other day. It's when Srila Prabhupada is talking about the Shankaracharya, and he's
The impersonalist.
but he's also extracting the deeper, but beyond what he had said and taught and showed and preached at face value, that he actually glorified Krishna as the absolute truth. But you had to find it, and he was just extracting different scriptures and
Yeah.
purpose and expanding on it.
So I think one thing that, and I have a question for all of you. Yeah. Many of us are initiated by different spiritual masters. Many of us have been in the movement for 10, 20, 30 years, or 5 years, or even 1 year. It's a very mixed audience. But what is it that really, within ISKCON, what is that one thing that really connects us all? That one thing that we all do that connects us. Japa? Yes? Yes.
Connect to another thing is when you go to the ISKCON temple, they're always like humble as there's somebody new coming. They're welcoming them very nicely. Said, then explain to you better.
Yeah.
I think that's another connection in the ISKCON as well.
Yeah, but I've been to some ISKCON temples where I didn't find they were very welcoming.
There was which one I've been so far. I find it.
So that may or may not be the case, honestly. Similarly, somebody might say deities, but I might like Krishna Balram, you might like Narsinghadev, somebody might like Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra. So there's still some diversity there. But there is one thing in which there isn't really any diversity or a question of diversity. Yes?
Association?
Association, well, there is a huge amount of diversity there. I like to personally associate with really some kind of a hip-hop kind of a crowd, like you. That's what I like. No, I'm joking. I'm very unlike that. Very unlike. Yeah. But, so it's very diverse association, yes.
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada?
Books.
Correct. Somebody said it. Yes. Srila Prabhupada's books. Actually, wherever you go in ISKCON, even if somebody falsely claims a place to be ISKCON, they would do it based on Prabhupada's books. So it is that one thing that connects us all. So how much important is it to really, really pay attention to that one thing through Prabhupada's books? We should drown ourselves, completely drown in Srila Prabhupada's books. Is it making sense, Subin? What did she say? Himani, what did she say?
She said definitely.
Definitely. I want to be sure. She's good. She's a very good listener. Very attentive listener. We got to be listeners and executioners both. Yes.
Just a practical question, Prabhu. I know that you have a very senior role in your work and you have a family. So how do you fit in, or how, not fit in, it's the wrong word. How do you create the space and the time to go deeper and learn the books and read and
Yeah.
So I know you pray not just one time, multiple times. We can't even, some of us are struggling to sometimes get through.
Yeah, I mean, I work, outside work is 11 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then there is life, yes.
You have an extensive life.
Yes.
He has a loft.
15,000 books in his library.
I'll tell you this. What inspired me. And I'm speaking very personally. Many years ago, I was listening to Srila Prabhupada, and he was speaking about the Shad Goswami Ashtakam, which glorifies the 6 Goswamis. And he was continuously emphasizing one particular line. He was saying, in the verse, one line is, Akala Vyarthatvam, which means, not even one moment should go waste. When I'm working, I work online, emails, whatever, calls, but even if there is 3.5 minutes between calls, I'm somehow trying to connect to Krishna through hearing, through chanting, or reading, or meditating sometimes. Every morning, doing my rounds, trying to do my rounds before 5:30 in the morning. Trying to listen to Srila Prabhupada first thing in the morning before I start work for 1 hour at least. Listen, hearing his Shabda Vani, directly audio. And now audio is available. I used to do that back in the days using audio tape. My father bought me a Walkman. You know what this Walkman thing is? You may not,
No,
you're a different generation.
He's not like a
But you know that there was these tapes, like the cassettes. So you have to change the cassette every time and put that headphone big. I would still listen. And I remember it was for 120 rupees, that Walkman in those days. Very expensive those days. 120 rupees was a big thing. Yeah, I would say that I am, whatever little success I have is because on a personal level, we don't waste our time. Try not to waste our time. Precious. Time is so precious. You know what how Srila Prabhupada was? His life was like clockwork. Absolutely clockwork. Bhakti Maharaj writes in his book, what is the name of the book?
Ocean of Mercy.
Ocean of Mercy, that's it, thank you, Prabhu. He writes in the book Ocean of Mercy that once Srila Prabhupada said, please make me some orange juice. And Bhakti Maharaj, there was no oranges in the kitchen. So he thought, how can I go back and tell my spiritual master there are no oranges? Let me go to the market and buy them. He went to the market, he bought the oranges, came back, he juiced them, and he went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, here's the orange juice. Prabhupada got furious. He said, it's too late. It's taken too long. I don't want to have it. Take it away. He's really furious. And Bhakti Maharaj, I heard from his mouth, and he writes in the book as well, there was a lesson to him to value time. Prabhupada was punctual. And actually Bhakti Maharaj was so punctual. I attended one of his disciples' meeting in Bhaktivedanta Manor. And I'll not name him, but one of his very senior disciples, like seriously senior as in both in age and in number of years. Maybe he's been in Krishna consciousness 40 years, this disciple. He came in 2 or 3 minutes after the meeting start time. And 20 minutes before the meeting start time, everyone was there. And this disciple came just 2-3 minutes late. And Maharaj immediately said to him, why are you late? This devotee he was just about to enter the door. The meeting was in Prabhupada's room upstairs. And he had just opened the door, everyone was there, Maharaj has just started speaking. And he said, he didn't say welcome, nothing. He just said, why are you late? And then he said something which was just like, too much, shattering. He said, am I your guru or are you my guru? And the devotee said, Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, you are my guru. He said, so why do you make your guru wait? He was just And he went on for like 5 minutes with just this one. I was just wondering how this devotee must be feeling. So after many years, I reminded him of that episode and I asked him. And he said, it wasn't the first time I was late. So I said, okay, that explains something. He was a habitual latecomer. And because otherwise Bhakti Maharaj was not always that hard on anyone. But point still was that it's important. And Prabhupada was so particular. You know Prabhupada's standard of cooking, standard of, how many of you cook for deities or cook at home or cook at home also? No? None of the men are raising their hand. Huh? Sometimes. Okay, good. So if you're cooking, how many of you do deity worship? Yeah, good. And how many of you, anyway, Prabhupada, at least for these two, Prabhupada said 1 hour deity worship, 1 hour cooking. This was his standard. And what is that 1 hour cooking? 1 hour cooking, Mother Yamuna told this to me when she was in London. I spent some time with her. She said, Prabhupada said 1 hour cooking maximum. And then 1 hour cooking means you do the shopping, you do the cooking, of course chopping or whatever it is. Then you do the cleaning, you do the offering. That is 1 hour cooking. Prabhupada made a feast for 90 of his disciples in 1 hour. And he made 13 items. And that is from starting of cleaning to actually finishing and making the offering. With how many? With assistance of how many people? What do you think? 0. It was Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance day. And Prabhupada had told his disciples, please make the feast ready. Because my Guru Maharaj eats at midday. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to honor his prasad at midday, 12 noon. Srila Prabhupada used to honor his prasadam at 1:30 p.m. But Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to do it midday. So his disciples thought, yeah, we will listen the class, we will then go and buy something. Just very casual, right? Most of us are so casual. And Srila Prabhupada asked at about 11 o'clock, almost 10:50 or 11. So, how is the feast going on? And the disciple said, we haven't started it yet, Prabhupada. So Prabhupada got off and rushed into the kitchen. And in 1 hour, he cooked. For all the devotees and for Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Prabhupada said, 1 hour deity worship, 1 hour cooking. Prabhupada's life was time boxed. And we can all learn this concept. If there are certain things we are not able to do in our life, suppose reading, chanting, he would time box it. He would say, cooking 1 hour. And then you have a box of time 1 hour. You learn how to do it within that. No option. There is no if and but. There is no, oh, this, no, that. Just 1 hour. It's very particular. Anyway, I don't know why and how I drifted there, but it's still Prabhupada Katha, so I'm okay.
Prabhu, can I say something?
Yes.
I'm so happy that you asked me this question because that, triggered that, okay, why, I said most of the days, right? Then I was thinking like, but why not those days, where I'm not reading? Then it was like, oh, but there are usually late night programs. It's usually weekends actually. Weekends are a little bit unorganized. But then I'm thinking, okay, even if I know that there will be late night programs, then why don't I do the reading before going to the program, right? So thank you for.
Very good. Yes. I think actually, if we ask ourselves, how many of us sometimes don't feel like sleeping and don't sleep? Anyone? Yeah, you just don't sleep, yeah? For days on end. How about eating? You just skip eating. How about drinking? What I'm trying to get to is how many essentials of life can we live without? Well, I was going to ask breathing. How many of you can go on to that? No. So if we can treat our spiritual practice as important as eating, breathing, eating, then I think it will become part of our life. It has to become a second nature, part of our life, and deep. Okay, what's the time? What's the time?
12:15.
Okay, 15 more minutes. Okay, good. So, did we read this? No, we didn't read the French.
Adopte l'honnêteté, met l'accent sur l'essentiel, le chant.
The shop.